Good afternoon, everybody. I'm going to speak about a matter that I already touched last year. So the ones who heard that already can go on with a good snap. What is our energy challenge as of today? So I'm not one of the believers who could think that energy costs are going to stag or even to decrease. I think it will resume increasing one or the other day. And we have already evidences of quick raises in some countries, in emerging markets, for instance. Let's go to pharmaceutical area. We have, pharmaceutical sites are twofold. First of all, chemical sites, where we produce the API, active product ingredient. And the other sites that are mostly packaging. Okay, chemical sites, it's classical, the usual consumption that prevails is gas consumption. While in pharmaceutical sites where we are seeking for a high level of air quality, we have air handling units, and we have to remember this acronym, air conditioning, HVAC. Okay, that means ventilation and climatization, meaning heating air, cooling air, drying air. Ventilation amounts for, okay, all in all, HVAC amounts about 50% at least of total energy costs for packaging sites. For instance, Sanofi has more than 80 packaging sites over the world. And among these 50% again are dedicated to ventilation. So it's purely sensible to focus on reducing this cost related to climatization. Some words about climatization. What is a handling unit? So we have some fresh air incoming that goes through various filters that go through a cooling coil and a heating coil first. Cooling coil, well, then sometimes we have to add some steam to reach the right level of humidity. The air is blown towards the rooms where we are controlling the quality of the air, and it comes back, it is extracted by another fan, and the energy can be recovered through an exchanger here, and a part of this air is recycled here. Okay, so you can already figure out that all of these physical phenomena is not so simple if we try to put that as a set of equations. And as a matter of fact, it's more than 20 equations. If I only consider static equation, I'm not here considering dynamic equations. So what are the parameters? Of course, weather is paramount, and here we have no control. Energy cost, apart from some politicians, we have no control. Room dimensions, okay, not real control on that. Room insulation, here we have some possibilities to change. The air change rate, as per regulation, we have to comply with a minimum of air change rate. The temperature set point, okay, here we have some more flexibility. The humidity set point, we have to ensure a certain level of dryness. And the working calendar, meaning how many hours do we work in the day or days in the year. We have the heat production efficiency, that relates to the losses of energy along the network, for instance, the network that conveys steam all across the site. The cooling production efficiency as well, that relates to about the same as compared to heating energy. On top of that, the efficiency of the chillers. Chillers are compressors. And some other characteristics, some other features related to the air handling unit. Okay, you see it's the characteristics, for instance, the features of the fans, of the motors themselves, of the gearings. Okay, we are going to go through that. Oh, the air recycling rate, what is authorized, you can figure out that if we are working with some dangerous substances, so nothing is authorized to be recycled. And the energy recovery that we have or we don't have. Okay, let's try to categorize these parameters. Some can be changed at a very quick pace, like this one, temperature set point, humidity, air recycling. Some others are fixed for decades, like the green ones, and these ones are can be modified at a pace at least once per year. That's the normal pace. So we have a big set of parameters, of variables that can drive our consumption. And it's quite an interesting problem from a mathematical or mathematical point of view. So, confronted to this situation, when you are responsible for energy at a plant, you are not considering mathematical aspect, but how could I cut the energy bill, considering the pressure that comes from above? So, what should be changed? Should it be changed, and when? Is it worth a change? All in all, change or no change? That's the question. Okay, we know that Hamlet already. Okay, so and the frequent questions are this one: what could I do with an acceptable payback? Can I bring the evidence of the payback to my boss, to financial people? What are the right priorities? And you were going to see that it's a broader scope. So everyone is having his own point of view. Purchasing wants to negotiate better energy contract, and that's the only point. Technical folks are focusing on motors, on gearings, boilers, and so on. Quality says, as per regulation, you are not authorized to. Okay, and there are plenty of regulations. And finance, of course, asks the question: is internal production still necessary? Okay, it's a joke. So, what it was considering that it was necessary to set up a tool that could help people to accurately plus minus 5%, assess what could be the consequences of a change in this big set of parameters or variables, and so to fully legitimate or not a good idea, an alleged good idea, considering the payback. So the idea is to have a handling unit model with the various factors and to play with these factors, okay, and to see what are the potential savings as output. Okay, so usual parameters that can be changed: the temperature set point, the recycling rate, meaning the quantity of air that you recycle here, which has a big influence, the energy recovery, and of course the energy cost. Okay. A bit of history. We first built a draft. I call that draft with a company, and it was based on Excel. It was just a bad idea. A good idea to make the draft, the proof of concept. A bad idea to make that an industrial tool. I was fiercely against this idea, but sometimes you have to be patient. And after a while, when the application reached 200 megabytes, and that nobody could be able to download that in less than 10 minutes, some people said we should think of a new generation. And then we started discussing with Scilab. There was only 2 possible languages, and okay, so we started discussing with Scilab at some time, let's say 2 years ago, and then we started to draft a user requirement document that was the opportunity to exchange accurately and to help each other to understand what was possible and doable. And then Scilab offered to us a dream team. So Adeline Carnis, Charlotte Eke, Antoine Elias, Dominique Calens, and many others who I don't know. So if they are in the room, they can say yeah. Okay. And they developed all accepted calculations. But all accepted calculations is really a big chunk of the program. And my friend Louis Blavier developed all that relates to calculation. It's more than 1,000 lines of code. Okay, so all the limits of the former Excel tools have been removed, and we have applied even encryption and far easier deployment tools. Let's go to the tool itself. Okay, here it is a slide where, but I will quickly go to the actual application. So the idea is to start. It's tiny, so you have to be a believer. And the battery looks to be works. When you do that, okay. So. You start with the room conditions. Okay, you start with the room conditions. And maybe it's better if I go directly to the application itself. Okay. Wow. So, room conditions are the temperature set points, humidity set points, the flexibility you give around the set point. That is really paramount to have good savings. Okay, the number of people working in the room, the insulation of the room itself, the quality of the glass of the windows, quality of the walls, quality of the roof. Okay, okay, I won't go through all features, and of course the heating power of the installed equipment that bring their own energy by themselves, and a big chunk of this energy is converted to heating. Next topic is about the production of energy. Okay, the energy comes from boiler. Usually, the boilers even, and it is distributed through a network of steam all across the site. So it must be well insulated, otherwise you will have big losses. And it is the same about the cooling energy. That is a pipe. It's a pipe of chilled water or brine. Okay, all these variables relate to these factors, you see. So there is an initial situation, okay, and of course there is a cost, the cost of energy, okay, gas and electricity, that are really country related, and even company related, because each company negotiates its own costs, as you know. Then everything that relates to the air handling unit itself. So, of course, the quantity of supplied air to the rooms, the recycling quantity of air, recycled quantity of air, the way you are behaving when you are not working. Do you reduce the quantity of air that is sweeping the rooms or not? Some technical features like mechanical transmission. Let's give an example. Okay, belt, gearing, or direct drive. And okay, if you just to have, you see belt, direct drive. Okay, 95%, 96.5%, 91. But 1% over the year is very significant. Okay, you have these features for the two fans, blowing fan, extracting fan. Okay, and the energy recovery, the capability to have or not to have an energy recovery that crosses the output of the air with the input of the air. And that's a big opportunity. So let's start with the initial situation, and let's compute the values. So then it's the computing that is behind this weight bar. It computes for every hour in the year, every hour relating to a point to two information, temperature and outside temperature and outside hygrometry. For each hour, for every hour, it computes the expected consumption. So you see it's pretty fast. Okay. My computer is not pretty fast. But hello. This will come one day. And after doing that, starting from this this point, then you can start modifying. We are going to do that. You can start modifying some variables. So here you see that the cumulated energy is threefold. Okay, ventilation. Okay, this is the black line. Heating. Okay, that's the red line, and cooling. So we start from this situation, and then let's move to another technology. Let's try to okay. We change the mechanical transmission, and then we compute the new situation, starting from the same set point apart this one. Okay, as expected, you see that you have a pretty good cut. Okay, to 2.9 % of energy consumption, of electrical consumption, and the payback over the year is something like 284 euros. So you can ask yourself, is it worth really doing this modification? Because the payback is not so obvious considering the cost of the drive. So if somebody from Schneider is attending, I can discuss with him, or Siemens, or any company that is supplying this category of drive. If you are anticipating a quick rise of the electrical energy, then it could be worth doing that. And you can do that using this of course, using this simulation. Now let's go to another simulation. Let's put some other more flexibility. Here you see that we have a flexibility of 1 Celsius grade around 22 Celsius grade for second. 1 Celsius grade is really a little bit too stringent. So let's go to 2, and let's see if this brings us some savings. Claude, jusqu'à quelle heure? Combien on a? Demi-heure? 20 minutes? Jusqu'à combien j'ai? Oh, ça va. Merci. Okay. So Scilab is not guilty for that, but my computer is. Okay, so that's a big surprise, you see. Giving a flexibility of 1 additional Celsius grade around the set point brings more than 2,000 euros per year as saving. This means clearly that between selecting a new drive, a new category of drive, and just changing the set point to see what is the most effective. I think that's very clear. I'm not saying that the first decision would be wrong. I say that clearly the priority is here, and this can be done over the minute. You see, and this kind of decision is not so obvious if you don't have this category of tool. You could say it's common sense, but common sense is maybe not such a so well shared value over the world. Let's go to another modification, and okay, we could spend all the time around that. Sorry, wrong button. So try again. Okay, here I'm adding a recovery of the energy using water. If you remember the first drawing I presented, you remember that the outgoing air is crossing the incoming air, and that we recover part of the energy. So let's go. And here the saving is around 9,000 euro a year. Of course, we have to do some investment to get that. That's clear, and it's easier to do that when you are building a site or a building from scratch than doing that once the installation is already built. But it's one of the good lessons we learned with this tool is that we should absolutely consider that in the future. Okay, so I come back to the presentation. We went all around that. Okay, we checked everything. So how did we build that? So I explained that. The project spanned over around 8 months, starting from user requirement and up to the rolling out. So the benefits, you can see the users can access very quickly with an easy tool. They can access how to cut their energy bill. The learning curve is very fast. We have now the return of experience on that. It's very user-friendly. Calculations are very accurate. It was not the case with the Excel prototype. The maintenance is really easier, and we have a good team that is able to support the future development. Team from Scilab. The application is light. It's 6 megabytes, so it's almost nothing. It's faster. The data and the code are well segregated. There is a very good code modularity. It's multilingual, locally manageable. Okay, and the deployment is and the version management are pretty simple. So my friend Louis, who is really hands-on, the guy who builds by himself, who builds the code for the calculations. Okay. And you see that it's more than 1,000 lines. It's 1,100 lines of code. Okay, so quick glance over the rest of the program. Okay, you can see the number of modules that have been built by Scilab. Okay, some excerpt of the code. You can see that it is very well documented, very modular. Okay. And the next step, I go quickly over that. So you have seen that there are a number of parameters that can be changed very quickly. So the next step would be to give some flexibility on some of the variables. Like, for instance, considering the outside temperature, you could say, I'm not forced to have a fixed set point. My set point can move a bit with the external temperature. And so you see when the outside temperature is raising, so you raise a bit the set point, and you will win some pretty good point of energy. So all in all, we will reach this this behavior, having a set of parameters that can be reprocessed all 30 minutes, for instance, with the model, with an optimizer, the steepest descent algorithm that will provide us with the best set of parameters that we enter as input into the air handling unit. We are thinking of that, and we are pretty certain that we can still save between 5 and 10% of yield, of efficiency, which is pretty good as of today. So, thank you very much. Time for questions?